What's going on, everyone? This is Michael Stewart-Isaacs,
And this is Shemekka Ebony.
and this is your next edition of
Sunday
Stacks.
Stacks.
Yes, Sunday Stacks back again. This is February 18th, 2024, and we are so grateful to be back on this wonderful Sunday just to engage with you, the people, just going through the journey of a week to week. And what we build here at Sunday Stacks is an environment where you just get to unpack and really start to see where you level up week for week. And we here at Sunday Stacks is all about that. You know, we are a product of I Am Brilliant and what we do here. And we just want to continue to inspire those out there who care about family, community, and company. So thank you again for joining Sunday Stacks. We hope you enjoy this episode. First, got to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, QuickBooks. Want to thank you, QuickBooks, for sponsoring this edition. We always want to encourage you all to keep your business organized. QuickBooks provides you that opportunity to continue to grow and elevate your business game, to continue to make sure that your checks and balances are in order. So definitely check out the link in the description and get yourself an opportunity to get a discount on QuickBook products.
Absolutely, and definitely want to give a shout out to Forum for giving a platform for me as a peer facilitator to be able to host groups. So if you're looking for a way to connect with women entrepreneurs, fellow business owners, want to grow your capacity and find somewhere to heal and become that better version of yourself, then come check us out. The link is in the description for you to join our next upcoming group, Leadership Empowerment.
Yes, and so we are so grateful. It has been an amazing week as we love to continue just to share our journey. We at I Am Brilliant just continue to grow. And with Sunday Stacks, we're just always grateful to share our stories of our week. This week is no exception. It has been an amazing week. I got a chance to enjoy this lovely lady across from me here, Miss Shemekka Ebony, and we got an opportunity to have a wonderful time this Valentine's holiday. Yes, how was Valentine's for you, my love?
It was wonderful. We had a great night, having an opportunity to check out the Peach Cobbler Factory for a nice, quick dessert before the good treat of having the candlelight concert that was in a beautiful, serene gathering, very intimate vibes. It was fun being out with you, and I definitely am glad and appreciative to get a chance to just have a moment to relax and enjoy orchestra style music that we were able to connect with and are familiar with from being scores and movies, and then also just having a chance to let my hair down with you.
Yes, it was amazing. We want to give a quick shout out to Fever. Maybe not a sponsor yet, but definitely a great experience for those who are looking for original experiences in cities. And, it was just an amazing opportunity just to enjoy my love. We got a chance to, like you said, enjoy orchestra, violins and different string performances of songs that we're familiar with throughout the years. And it was just a great opportunity just to kind of just get a different slice of culture, a different way of engaging. It was beautiful. The stars were out. The moon was perfect. The scenery of the facility we were at was just this nice, open space. And it was just an amazing experience. So I'm glad we were able to enjoy Valentine's at a high level. And for those out there who may be parents, it's not always easy just to get out there and, get on that date night. But Valentine's gave us a good reason and we were able to have a great experience. So
where can people find the replay?
Yes, you can find the replay on our pages. Definitely go to our I Am Brilliance pages on Facebook, as well as you can go to our handle on Instagram as I Am Brilliant and the letter U, the letter R, and the number 2. I Am Brilliant, you are too. As always, you can find us through the hashtag, but we definitely want you to be able to enjoy and see some of the things we got to enjoy with this event. And hopefully you find moments like that, whether it be Valentine's or any other time, to take the love of your life out and just enjoy something original and kind of magical when you listen to, instruments and be able to really embrace what they're able to do for the spirit.
Thank you for lifting that.
So as we always transition in our Sunday Stacks episodes, we want to talk about our topic this week. And so this actually came out of something, an experience Shemekka recently went to at a vision board party. And she came back with such an amazing revelation I wanted her to share here with our audience. And we're just going to unpack this theme. But she came up with the revelation that people in our life can sabotage us. Sabotage. Yes, sabotage is the theme of today's show. We want to talk about those out there who work so hard, who are building things, but then all of a sudden this concept of sabotage comes into our lives. I'm not talking about the things that are accidents, but a sabotage, an intentional destruction of your well-being. Have any of y'all out there felt sabotage? Do you want to unpack what you were feeling when you brought this revelation to the table?
Well, I really had to sleep on it because I don't think that was the first layer that hit me when I was making my prayer vision board, but it was more so centered around what that night meant to me as far as the anniversary of an experience of trauma that my family had. And I think it was the overnight unpacking that, aside from having pity for the person and having mercy and all of that, not even touching on forgiveness alone, but it's the willful act to be destructive, whether it's self-destructive or to be intentional and willful of trying to destroy other people's lives in some capacity, is such a dangerous spirit to contend with. And what I woke up this morning with the understanding and awareness of what that anniversary meant to me in that way, it was the bigger picture of how this instance and experience is really a spirit of sabotage that this individual suffers with. And it wasn't just that one occasion for in the past, but it's several occasions, a cumulative of occasions that just really speaks to sabotage and not just an isolated event. So it's helped me get a greater awareness, even in my prayer covering for deliverance for that we don't find ourselves succumb to keep being the victim of snakes that could be around us, constantly sabotaging our moving forward or our growth because we're not aware of what it looks like. We're not aware. We think it's isolated, but we're not looking with an eagle's eye view to see the consistent pattern of the snake showing you it's a snake.
I love the way you put that. And I think that's the lesson there, right? As we speak from the reference of a snake, right? You think about the story of Adam and then the creation of Eve. And then all of a sudden there was this foil that came in being the snake, right? The sabotage, right? Something that created an influence intentionally to go against the will of God. And I think that's something we all have to realize, is that sometimes when you're in alignment with God's will, when you're trying to make transformation happen in your life, sometimes other people who don't quite understand the value and the power for themselves, they'll come along and say, how dare you? How dare you try to get ahead of me? How dare you try to do something without me? They don't look at how they themselves could prosper and grow, or how they themselves weren't able to grow with that person. They just don't want you to get further than them in the sense. So instead of building together or finding new compromising grounds, we choose to sabotage at every consistent point to keep people from growth. And, as my spirit just kind of welts up with this, because I understand the deep trauma that sabotage has hit our family with in regards, sometimes, you could see us being brilliant, but just like all of us, we come from pain. And part of this brilliant movement is about the transformation of the pain. It's about making it not be the final stance. It's about not allowing the sabotagers to be able to win the day and be able to really foil what you're trying to create, what God has put in you. Right. And that brilliant light is the thing that anchors us to remember who you are. That if you know who you are, as I always say in my speaking, you know your power. Because power doesn't come from someone else telling you who you are, but you knowing who you are allows for you to overcome the sabotages.
Well, and something that it brought up too, because I talked about the mentality it took in the moment when the trauma hit, and it was edging God out. I remember Deepak Chopra says this, that ego is edging God out, and I had that moment, of willfully wanting or having a desire to edge God out because of my response to the sabotage. And, I had have to come back to recenter to the calm of that, the sovereignty of God is the sovereignty of God. And we minimize his power when we edge him out and allow our ego. I live by the on-site, but you can also miss out on God's blessings with that same stance that you have when you try to be in pursuit.
Rewind for the people once again. You live for the what? Say it again for the people one more time. I think they might have missed that part, Miss Shemekka. I hate to interrupt you, but you must say that again for the people.
What? Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I live for the on-site. That was something to hear.
And I guess the reason why I say that is because this is like flow in real time, coming to the awareness of the dangers of living in on-site. It's the adrenaline, it's the energy that can be reallocated to something else more powerful.
And for the listeners who may not understand what the on-site means, right? Let's translate culture. The on-site means that at the moment I see a person who has been a saboteur to my performance at any given moment, if I see them, well, God knows that he has kept those moments in so many times from so many of us. And I think that's what Ms. Shemekka is talking about, that delivering, that grace, that peace sometimes we have to have, because sometimes that on-site mentality want to jump out of us to harm somebody.
Because remember, sabotagers in our lives don't have as much to lose as you do, or they don't measure the value of what you all have to lose. And so the downside or the challenge of living loyal to on-site is you dealing with people that don't have something to lose. And that's like been my meditation for 2024 is stop dealing with people that don't have much to lose, or what they have to lose is of lesser value to what you bring to the table. As far as how you maintain your peace, because you're fighting with people that are under you. I used to call it, you're fighting with chihuahuas and you're like a pit bull. So in those cases, they're not fighting back. They're just sitting here listening to something smaller than them scream, bark, and yell. But pit bulls don't do all that. It's kind of like they leap. They're activators.
That reminds me of a video, to your point, right? I saw of a dog coming, not understanding what it was sizing up. Like a dog would bark at a person or something, but it was somewhere in the jungle-ish regions. But a dog came and found itself barking on a tiger. And without a moment, the tiger just lifted his paw, came by the dog, didn't roar or nothing, scooped the dog up and bit it by the neck and walked off with the dog in its mouth, and didn't even have to roar at the dog in any capacity with all the barking the dog was doing, because the tiger knew he was a tiger. And so that's a metaphor for some of what Shemekka is saying, is like, when you know you're a tiger, when you know you're a lion, when you know you're something powerful, there's always going to be people barking at you and even threatening to diminish your power.
That's it. Now say that.
But at no point do you ever forget that you are a tiger, a lion, or like myself, a dragon, that sometimes people don't want you to imagine what you could be in this world. So they want to consistently bring you down because they can never see themselves being in the places you see yourself taking height to. And that's something we all have to really put in our spirit. And that's what we really foster here with this I Am Brilliant movement, is that no one at no point can tell me who I am. And at the same time, you claim who you are out there as well.
So we're exposing the sabotage. Even if, we're frequently hearing the self-sabotage, but we're exposing the spirit of sabotage. And I would encourage you not to take ownership of it or associate it with it in any way. And that means removing all doubt, even when it's self-doubt, because these sabotaging things are meant to destroy, delay, or deny you from where you're supposed to be in God.
So as you talk about doubt, self-doubt, one thing I would teach my children all the time is about the concepts of discipline. And discipline is not that of me, spanking them or yelling and scolding, but discipline is their ability to create their own self-control. How do you train an individual to understand that they must at some point start training themselves towards self-control, the resistance. I was explaining to my son that sometimes the things that he doesn't rush out to do is to help and save him, keeps him from falling down, keeps him from hurting. So sometimes going slow doesn't always mean that you're going to be denied. And I think self-control has always gotten the wrong idea that people think you're self-denying yourself. But sometimes you're keeping yourself from getting to a place. If someone is constantly eating and they're 5 years old, eating, by the time they're 15, they're considered overweight or obese. It's because at no point does someone tell them the virtue of self-control. And I think that's not to poke at anybody out there in the audience that may not see it, but if you can make the mindset shift towards self-control and discipline for your own well-being, there's so many testimonies that prove that to be true. And something you said this week to me when I was thinking about it, again, we always talk about FCC, family, community, and company. So let's talk a little company. You said something that was so powerful to this notion of sabotage, self-discipline, self-control, right? It was the concept that you said, if you have a team when you can pay people to focus, you have a team when you can pay people to focus. So now let me pose this to you. You have a sports team, you have anything, right? NFL, right? We'll talk about that. You have the NBA, All-Star Weekend. We'll talk about that. But what we're talking about is these players on these teams only play to their best because of the measure of their salaries that make them bring out the best level of performance in them. No different than a corporate structure, no different than the jobs you pay for hourly or wherever. When you pay people, you have their focus. We went to a restaurant the other day. Some employee just bumped into me all casually and this and that third. He looked like he wasn't getting paid well enough to be there.
Right.
So he didn't want to give me top tier customer service through and through because his pay probably didn't match how he felt to make him feel good. And I think that's the key. Again, the quote was, you have a team when you can pay people to focus. So when it comes to discipline and self-control, we have to also understand that people around you who you're not paying, they could be the sabotagers. The people who work in your workplace who don't feel like they're getting the right due or getting the right recognition or promotion, they could be the sabotagers. The people in your family who don't feel like they contribute or allowed to cook or do something when they need to, they could be the sabotagers. We have to see it in our communities. We have to see it in our families. We got to see it in our companies. We have to understand that the models that we're talking about here at Sunday Stacks are important. So back to shift to teams, let's get into what we call our Whiz of the Week. Whiz of the Week. Yes, the Whiz of the Week. We're going to talk about sabotage to keep the theme going, but let's bring it to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs. What an amazing end to a phenomenal Super Bowl game. They came up the victors, and you think, oh my goodness, it can't get any better than this. We're the victors. We won a championship. And then all of a sudden you come to their city, celebration time for the week, and all of a sudden, boom, sabotage.
Sabotage happens.
Sabotage happens. Yes, Whiz of the Week. We're talking to Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, we're giving them a cheers for their Super Bowl victory. But how unfortunate that gun violence and certain things find its way in a simple gathering that was supposed to be a celebration of a city's accomplishments, but becomes a moment of sabotage because some juveniles made a decision to enact whatever anger they had in that moment because they didn't have that discipline and self-control that it takes to not be a sabotager. And we got to really deep down as a community, as a family, stop putting ourselves in a position to just idolize all these sports teams and all these athletes and all these other things. And we're not building up our children to their full capacities. A father's not telling their son how awesome their mother is. A mother's not telling the son how awesome their father is. We always adulate everything else outside of us. And we need to take more internally time to really focus on the things going on in ourselves to create the disciplines and the focus that we need to be the players that we want to see with the performance levels that people will look into our lives to. As they always say, you'll have haters. You know you have haters when you start having fans, right? And that's the key to life, is that when you're starting to win and have fans, somebody's going to come in that doesn't like what you're doing. And so I encourage all of us out there to continue to stay vigilant, continue to stay excellent, and most importantly, be brilliant out here, because sabotagers can only stop you when you stop. And we don't want that to be the case. There's too much adventure, too much fun out here in this world to explore. And I would be darned from any traumas that I've been through in my life that I would let anyone steal my other days of joy when they already took one day from me already. That was too much already. So
we've exposed the plan. We've exposed the plot. What you do with this information moving forward is solely, in your discretion. We've made you aware. You can pray against the spirit. You can pray to be delivered from it if you have been the person who has been the sabotager. But want for yourself a better version of you that doesn't include bringing down or tearing down somebody else.
So with that, we will definitely look to wrap up this edition of Sunday Stacks. As always, look into like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're giving you our best. We love what we do here at Sunday Stacks. We want to continue to grow our podcast and our footprint. So definitely like and subscribe. I do not mind. As the old Temptation song goes, I ain't too proud to beg. Sweet
but come
dog.
through. You don't gotta beg, baby. Just
Oh,
come meet us
ooh.
in Charlotte.
Yes.
Come meet us in Charlotte next Saturday. We're gonna be at the Heart of the Woman in Charlotte event. I'm gonna be speaking on a panel. The Shemekka Mobile will be in the building. We will have While I'm Getting Naked. And Sanctuary Life books, t-shirts, and other cool stuff, as well as other Charlotte vendors that will be vending as we talk about the heart of a woman and the heart of her business. So let's come grow, build it together. Black Imagine Market will be a featured panelist, and Shemekka Mobile will be in the building. So.
Shemekka Mobile, driving through community. Shemekka Mobile, driving with immunity. Shemekka Mobile, driving to build unity. Shemekka Mobile. Yes. So when we come through, we always like to bring a good time and a good energy and good spirit. And like I said, all of that will be in the description. So definitely, like I said, share it, share the information. As always, we're promoters on Propaganda, right? We always promote. So we're always letting people know what we're doing. We want you to be involved. We want you to understand the edification that you will receive from the I Am Brilliant team and all the productions we're putting on, including this Sunday Stacks production. As always, we thank you for listening today. We look forward to connecting with you in our live versions in the future, and definitely check us out in Charlotte next week. As always, I am brilliant and you are too. Thank you again for listening to this edition of Sunday Stacks, and we'll see you next week.